The Boy Who Sold the Sky. Jalen Torres was born in a one-bedroom apartment above a corner store in a run-down neighborhood on the south side of Chicago. His mother worked two jobs, cashier by day, janitor by night, and still they were often late on rent. His father had vanished when he was 3, leaving behind a drawer full of broken promises and one old Polaroid photo. By age 10, Jalen had learned that dreams were expensive. Shoes that fit were a luxury, new clothes unheard of. Most nights he fell asleep to the soft murmur of sirens in the distance and his mother coughing from exhaustion. But Jalen had a mind like a sponge and eyes that never stopped moving. He asked questions about everything. Why some people lived in glass towers while others slept under bridges. Why school books still talked about 1990 like it was yesterday. Why his mother had to clean offices with her hands while others made money with theirs. He started reading everything he could find. Books from the public library, discarded magazines, even old manuals left in the trash. One day while helping his neighbor fix a broken tablet, Jalen stumbled onto something that changed everything. Coding. The neighbor, a retired IT guy named Mr. Roth, noticed his interest and handed him a stack of printed tutorials. "Start with these," he said. "If you figure them out, I'll show you more." Jalen devoured the material. Within months, he was building simple websites on the library computer, teaching himself HTML, CSS, and eventually Python. He didn't have a laptop, so he'd copy code into notebooks and debug it in his head. He learned to see numbers not as limitations, but as possibilities. By the time he was 14, he'd created a budgeting app using free tools and shared it in a local online forum. The app, simple but elegant, helped low-income families track spending and find small savings. It wasn't revolutionary, but it was real, and people noticed. One of them was a tech blogger who wrote a short piece titled, "Chicago Teen Builds Budget App to Help Struggling Families." The article went modestly viral. A week later, Jalen got a message from a nonprofit startup incubator offering him a mentorship spot. For the next few years, Jalen balanced high school, a part-time job stocking shelves, and weekend workshops at the incubator. He still lived in the same apartment, still came home to flickering lights and overdue bills, but inside him, something had changed. A quiet engine that refused to quit. By 17, Jalen had launched a new version of his app, renamed Pocket Path, complete with visualizations, AI-based tips, and support for Spanish-speaking users. He pitched it at a youth innovation conference and won second place. More importantly, he met someone who would become his first investor, a venture capitalist named Eliza Cho, who'd grown up poor herself. She gave him $25,000 in seed funding with one condition. Don't let them shape your voice. Build what you know the world needs. Pocket Path grew faster than anyone expected. Within a year, Jalen hired 3 part-time developers and a business manager. They operated out of a co-working space and lived on ramen and energy drinks. His mother, still working nights, cried the first time she saw his face in a Forbes Next 30 feature. At 20, Jalen secured a $1.2 million investment round. He moved into a small but clean apartment downtown. He bought his mother a car, not a fancy one, but it ran, and it was hers. He finally threw away the shoes with the hole in the sole that he'd taped together for years. But success wasn't smooth. There were boardroom meetings where he was underestimated, interviews that tried to frame him as a tech prodigy from the ghetto, and sleepless nights when he feared losing it all. He didn't have Ivy League degrees or famous mentors. All he had was persistence, vision, and a chip on his shoulder the size of a skyscraper. Instead of chasing trends, he doubled down on his mission: make financial literacy accessible, dignified, and useful. Pocket Path expanded into new markets, added mental health tools, and partnered with banks to offer low-fee accounts. By 23, the company was valued at over $60 million. One day, while speaking at a school not far from his old neighborhood, a boy raised his hand and asked, "What made you think you could make it?" Jalen paused. The room was quiet. He thought of his mother walking home in the rain, 'cause she couldn't afford bus fare, of debugging code in pencil under a flickering bulb, of Mr. Roth, who'd handed him those first tutorials, of all the nights he stared out the window at the city skyline, wondering if it was waiting for someone like him. "I didn't think I could," he said finally, "but I knew I had to try, because no one else was going to build the future I wanted." The kids clapped, some half understanding, some not at all. But one or two, the quiet ones, the dreamers, stared at him like he'd just opened a door.